Welcome back, everybody, to session 18. The hunt continues. So, last we met, we just left our characters off on the Atlantean side of the Great Grey River. You had spent that first evening uh, recovering a hidden cache. And so we will actually regain we'll continue, excuse me, that next morning. There's kind of a low mist on the river that morning, so we're gonna say just just before dawn, maybe like 4:30 in the morning. Describe your characters for us. Grant, take the lead for us.
Well, Blogveer will rise up from his little patch that he was sleeping on, covered in morning dew. Um, so his beard and his mat of dreadlocked hair will be very glistening with moisture. He'll kind of shake off like a wet dog, um, stretch his large physique out, and he'll hear a few pops and cracks that he hasn't heard. He just rubs his joints. He's getting old, and he can feel it now. He 10.5 feet tall, weighing a metric ton. He just looks up to the sky and just waiting for that orb to come over the horizon to warm up his uh his aching body. But it's going to be a little while for that. So he will go about getting a fire ready to warm up next to, and maybe dry off a little bit. And as he waits for his companions to awaken from their slumber.
You see that first blush of dawn that's kind of creeping up over the horizon. Um, the sun will be up in possibly about an hour. Where is Shihan currently?
Shihan is resting fitfully against a small tree right with the tall grass and such around him, sort of waving in the early morning light breeze that's starting to stir the mist. And as a blush of the sky hits, it just starts to blush just a little bit. He wakes up with a startling scream, causing river birds and such to fly away in a large flock. Looks over, sees that Blogbeer starting the fire, and he says, "Good morning." As he stretches his much slighter frame than Vlogbeer, standing just a bit below 6 feet tall, dark hair, um, pale skin, but it has more of a weathered look now than it might have even just one full chain ago. Having been out from under the trees more than most other of his kind at this point. Clothing is he's wearing what once might have been a very fine Atlantean tunic that is no longer very fine, though it is travel worn and it's been mended in a few places. It's obvious it's been mended because he's not a very good tailor on his own. He gets up and checks his belongings, pulls out his bow, and looks toward the Blogbeer and says, "We need anything to add to breakfast?"
Uh, I haven't even started breakfast. It fire's going though, so just whatever we have, throw it on there.
Okay. You pull the last of the preserved bear meat out of his pouch, toss it into their cooking pot with a few herbs that he has still around his person, and may a bit of the different. Well, actually, do they have, just out of character question? Is there rice yet?
It would probably be in the form of like wild rice, Native American kind of style
Okay.
wild rice.
Okay, he'll have a bit of that. He'll empty a little pouch of it out into the pot as well, just to get it started decently.
The rest of your lads stir as the youngest one actually wakes up to do the morning hunting ritual. He comes back about an hour after morning with 2 grouse, which, as is the Nemersian fashion.
Well done, young man. So get those cleaned up, and we'll have those for lunch after we have our fill. Shove a bowl into his hands.
He seems like he's the most hungry, so it seems like he doesn't taste breakfast as he pretty much inhales it. Clearly, he's a growing lad. He is, I don't know if I described him for you, but I believe he's about 16 to 17 and a half cycles old, so he's still quite young. Kea, however, sleeps in sometime and then wakes up to the smell of the beginning cooking of that grouse that you're throwing on. She, despite kind of like the bleak of your troops, I suppose endeavors, your trials over the past couple of months, she has slept quite soundly. There is a point in the morning where Shihan will steal a look out over the river, and somewhere along those lines, actually along that kind of like that camera pan, you hear the splish of a trout jump somewhere. But you do see a woman in a white dress, her hair matted to her head. For just a moment, it startles the soul from you for a few moments. You blink, and then she's gone.
He grumbles under his breath for a moment. He has almost a resigned look to him as he sees her. Though he does jump just for a moment, and it's like, damn it. He turns around and starts gathering his stuff, and he says, "Come on, lads, let's get everything packed up and ready to move. We have quite a ways to go."
At what point do you try to ford the river? Because there was one area that is quite a bit south of you and quite a bit north of you, where you could have before.
Probably try to go to the same place where we originally had crossed, where the Nemersians had crossed the first time.
That would be
We had followed them, so we'll probably head south there.
Okay. That will be just short of a day's trek. Then, I suppose you'll be able to get across the river, and then nightfall will hit again. So we'll say that next morning, I'll go ahead and cross off a unit of provisions for you. That next morning, that apparition visits you again, but she's on now this side of the river with you, which may or may not send a chill up and down Shihan's spine. As you've crossed the river, you now are reminded, almost instinctually, that you are now within the domain of the Pike Lord. River or not, this is part of his domain.
Yes, because they did swear fealty to him in that area. Yeah. When I see her, I'll of course I'll yell out, "Why must you vex me, witch?" And I'm sure the rest of the group has probably gotten used to my weird eccentricity, where I yell at nothing and wake up screaming every morning.
The mortals just kind of like, oh well, okay, fair folk, okay, they're weird. It's all right.
Okay. he'll but basically follow the same kind of ritual and such with helping the young man hunt. Actually, today he'll do that. Go out with him. I'll look for something maybe a little more substantial than grouse, even if there is anything in the area. So, give me the wilderness lord check real quick.
Go for it.
I'm sorry, my wife's phone just went off again. That is going to be an 18.
You do find something bigger,
Okay.
much
Mhm.
horrifyingly bigger.
Okay.
You stumble across a den of a Smilodon.
Okay. Okay.
Not something that we probably want to tangle with.
Yeah. So yes, I'll tell the young man back up slowly.
I will say one thing
Mhm.
though: no one is home that you can see currently.
Okay. So yeah, I'll tell him to
But
keep his eyes open.
the
And
boy, he is, I mean, seasoned enough as a hunter in his short life. He knows what a Smilodon is and what
okay.
their dens look like. He sees this. Evidently, he sees the. Well, he makes visual contact on the den before you do.
Okay.
He turns around wide-eyed and he just goes, "Oh no!"
Let's not be hasty, but let us make our way back to our group. They generally will not attack a large group. So generally,
Yeah. So you guys go ahead and trudge back
okay.
with no small amount of haste there. Um, as you now know that there are indeed predators in the area, you may wish to travel more cautiously.
Definitely get back and let them know that there are predators in the area. So whatever we happen to have on us is what we're going to have for breakfast this morning, and don't wander off. So if you must obey the call of nature, make sure someone goes with you and not too far away.
Kaya does not ask much of Blugveer over the past couple days. Um, she seems to be quite quite concerned with uh, your well-being, more in the way of when you first met back at Myos's villa. She made mention that she was concerned about the amount of corruption that had seeped into Blogbeer's heart. She it doesn't take Blogveer too much to catch on to the fact that she's keeping her distance because she does not know if he is the same ogre that she fell in love with. So she's keeping a very leery and distance and a weathered eye on yourself as well as Shihan.
Well, I mean, Blogveer understands. Like he understands. Like he it sucks, but he understands where she's coming from. But he's still gonna like bring her breakfast every morning, like breakfast in bed, if you know, if you will, and just do as many mundane tasks for her as he can, even without her asking for anything. Just trying to keep her as comfortable as possible, but also respecting the spaces she wants, even though she hasn't said it, because he's dumb but not stupid. So Blogbear he can take a hint. So, but he's still doing his duty. He's still going to do tasks for her, even if they're small and mundane, just to show that he is determined to make this work.
One, we'll say a few days later, we'll say 3 days later, actually. Um, she, before I continue, you guys are making your way in, I suppose, like an east by southeast kind of direction, I'm assuming, back to the woodlands.
Yes, back toward the woodlands.
Okay. Um, we'll say for thematic purposes, you guys are keeping an eye on, let's say, animal tracks and the presence of predators as it is late autumn. Some of the predatory megafauna of the world are going to be more active and searching. So travel at this time is absolutely unsafe.
Plus, we have
Um,
the horses too, so we need to keep an eye on them
of
Yes.
course.
to make sure
You
that.
guys have two Atlantean steeds, I believe.
I believe so.
I think
Oh,
so. Yeah.
I
That
know one is pulling the cart and another one is a pack horse, I think.
Yes.
Okay, good. Um, just so I don't forget, make sure you guys write that down. I just wrote it down now here too. Um, I just want more record of it.
Okay.
Horses are really expensive, incredibly valuable at this time.
And tasty.
Yeah, right. Primordial horses for the win. Now,
Skarnir screams in the distance.
yes. Oh, Skarnir. Oh, yes. Still kicking and screaming. Um, Now, the 3 days later, on that morning, Kea expresses to you a concern. She goes, "How much farther is the shelter, the woodlands?" And she's kind of speaking to Shihan, but she's looking at Blogveer, almost like asking both of you.
I'll look around and okay. See, that is going to be for travel. Be a 24.
Okay. That to you guys should be about 3.5 chains of travel by foot, especially at this very cautious rate that you're going.
Okay. I'll convey that. About 3.5 chains.
She falls quite silent at that. Her and Blogveer will remember that their actual home is much, much farther north than here, and clearly that's not going to be an option. But she has kind of an impatient look, but she's understanding of the fact that it's not safe right now, and certainly it's there's a reason why you guys are kind of going at a tortoise's pace.
Okay. Um, I'll ask one of the men if they know of any villages around here that might be a place we could at least take shelter for, at least a day or so.
Um, Actually, none of them will know because at this time, their villages will have traveled for their seasonal settlements.
Okay. Is there by chance any outposts, maybe like that my people might know of, or we might be able to find like maybe at least some shelter in the area that hunters might use?
At this time, I will say that you've been out of touch with your brother trackers, and as fair folk and Arborians are one to do, their rangers tend to leave caches in places for would-be travelers that would certainly be in the know. But I will say at this time, since your banishment, those caches may have changed locations, or they would be depleted at this time. So
Okay.
your information is not up to date.
Okay. So I just sort of nod at that at them and say, well, we'll just have to keep our eyes open and make sure we double our vigilance, especially at night, at dusk and dawn specifically. So
two of the older mortals that you have with you have taken to the habit of making kind of like a thorn bush fence, at least on one side of your encampment, kind of like a portable like hedgerow, like think barbed wire, but
Yes.
portable and basically like that, a briar bush.
Yeah, just something to inhibit movement from that direction. Yeah. So very, very, very smart of them.
Oh yeah, the older two, they've this is not their first rodeo. They've done this before.
Okay. Okay. So I'll definitely keep an eye on the tracks, and if any get too fresh, before I know something is in the immediate area, I'll make sure and let everyone know. So, and have the men array themselves to each side of the horses, and at least a couple in the back. Just
Okay.
you know.
You only have 3 with you, so you're not going to have much of a formation there.
Oh, one to each side, one in the back.
Okay.
And then Blogveer himself is probably going to be a deterrent for most predators because he is quite big. But at the same time, you never know.
A particularly ambitious Smilodon might like to have a piece of that ogre ass. Sorry, Grant. Sorry, I had to. You know I did. Within a few more days of traveling east, you find a kind of a well-worn pathway. It's not a road. We don't have proper roads at this time, but it's for all intents and purposes, it's a well-worn, tramped down path. And you've kind of linked up with that, and you'll remember that there was a village that connected this to a crossroads, and beyond that, if you chose the right path by memory, you could find yourself back at the Misty Wood, where you had first met Mara months and months ago after your banishment. It's been about 4.5 months since you've been back there, I think.
Okay.
To date, maybe?
Just about that, yeah. So I'll keep my eyes out on for any markings and such along the road, maybe on trees or stones nearby to see if there's any markings of maybe some hunters' caches. Anything like that along the way.
Make a wild lore test here.
Wild lore. Let's see. It's going to be a 29.
Ooh. Yes, you do indeed find a hunter's cache. It's kind of sandwiched between 2 rocks, which may or may not have been one single standing stone at one time, but it seems to have been cleft in 2 or split in 2 by something. There is a silver inlaid rune that is actually carved into the rock, which is the you remember from your youth the rune that denotes the moon, actually the full moon.
Okay.
Like I said, this rune actually has silver dust kind of like pushed into it, so when the light hits it properly, it glows.
Okay.
This is, we'll say, off the left-hand side of the path there, maybe about 24 yards away. It's the glint of the morning sunlight that actually caught the eye.
Okay. I call a halt and get one of the older gentlemen to come with me. So I'll tell you guys, stay right here. I want to check this out and see if it's occupied. We may find a place to shelter for a day or so, and possibly rest our weary feet and not have to worry about as much things sneaking up from us behind. I'm going to head up and see if I can determine if this is old or something fairly recently used.
Yeah, it's just a kind of a low hill that
Okay.
has a that split stone on it.
Okay.
And sandwiched between there is an old, kind of like an old backpack, kind of stuffed into like a half dug hole in the dirt under one of these stones.
Okay. Pull it out and check and see what's in there.
It is, to your surprised eyes, an old, well-worn leather Fairfolk backpack.
Oh, okay.
You'll recognize those stitchings anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Pull it out, dust it off a bit, and go through it and see what's if it has anything in it that's could be useful to us.
The backpack itself has a blood stain on one
Okay.
of the left hand shoulder strap.
Okay.
The pack in there, actually, excuse me, inside the pack is a pair of hunting daggers,
Okay.
bronze, well worn, and the hilts are notched in the hunter's fashion for kills.
Okay.
See, the right hand dagger has 27 notches in it,
Wow.
and the left hand dagger has 9.
Okay.
There's half full wineskin of you take a whiff, and there is still some red wine in there.
Okay.
It's about 3/4 full.
Okay.
Underneath the backpack is a pair of fine yet well used and well worn Fairfolk boots.
Oh, okay. I'll see if they're match my size or close to it.
Whomever these things belong to,
Mhm.
he or she was slightly taller than you, but they fit
Okay.
nicely. You can
Okay.
actually I was gonna say relace them, but rebuckle them. They have buckles actually
Okay.
go tight around the calf. They're about knee high.
Okay.
That actually fits you properly.
Yeah.
You see, there are 3 dozen arrows in there, but 7 of them are kind of broken in half.
Okay. Yeah.
The fletching and the heads are perfectly fine, however.
Okay.
They're not the best craftsmanship, but in a pinch, they work just as well as anything that you would consider high quality.
Okay.
And one final thing at the bottom of the backpack is a silver holy symbol of the god Kendrick,
Okay.
the deity that presides over of fear.
Hmm. Interesting. God of fear. So is he a common god that a hunter would worship, or is it would be odd to find that?
Kendrick has a quite a widespread religion. He is worshipped by mortals and fae alike. He commonly depicts himself as a Nemersian man, however. But to hunters, it's an uncommon deity, but not unheard of. This is the first time you've heard of it, however.
Okay.
To you, yes, this is news.
I'll put that into a pouch by itself, just to sort of keep it separate from the rest of the stuff. Mutter a little, maybe a little fair folk. I guess you could call it a blessing, really, sort of like the idea of throwing shoulder or salt over your shoulder, knocking on wood type thing.
It
To
would
hope
be
that
customary, yeah.
So to hope that this cache isn't cursed. Gather it up, hand the daggers to the fellow who's with me, which I'll have to give him a name at some point.
It would be customary for you to leave something there.
Okay.
It is considered taboo and completely unpolite to rid the cache of all of its contents. Excuse me, continents. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, well done. But you're kind of expected to leave something there and take
Yes.
something with you.
Definitely. So I'll go ahead and leave the pack because that's not really necessary. I'm going to take a dozen of the arrows.
Okay.
And then the arrows that are broken, I'm going to harvest the heads and the fleshings off of those because those are obviously not any good. I am going to replace those with a dozen of my arrows that I put together. So there are at least 2 dozen arrows left.
Okay.
So the daggers I'll give to the Mercian fellow and say, you and your companion can probably use these.
Oh, they're happy to have something of the fairies with them, and
Okay.
something that has seen battle, and with all those
Yeah.
notches on them, they're actually quite pleased.
Okay. And I'm going to let's see here. What do I have? I am going to go back to our wagon or our sled, one of the two, and I am
Well,
going
you
to
do
pull.
have both, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then sled then, and I am going to go and I am going to pull one of the log cutting axes and one of the fishing spears and place those back in the cache.
Those are going to be a little on the big side, but you're
Okay.
pretty confident that I'm not going to make you roll for it,
Yeah.
but you're pretty sure you can probably hide those amongst the
Yeah.
tall grass in there.
Definitely. Just get them sort of hidden to where they're safe and no one's going to just walk up on them and say, "Oh, look, I found something cool."
Mm-hmm. Excellent, excellent. What else are you taking, and what else are you leaving?
So I'll tell the fellows that it's customary to leave something if you take something. Those are all I
Uh,
need.
they're not going to touch it. They're
Okay.
this is your business.
Oh, okay.
They give you we'll say the oldest one, who's like maybe 35 cycles old. He's the one who came with you. He gives you a respectful about 20-foot distance to
Okay.
look into. He's covering you with a bow, obviously, but
Yeah. Okay. That's basically, I think, about what I've taken the knives and the the wine. Yes, taking the wine because otherwise it's going to waste anyway.
Mhm.
So I'll put 2 pounds of salt in there as well in a pouch.
Interesting. Okay.
That can be useful if they happen to get their kill. They'll have something to preserve it with.
All right.
And one of the wood cutting axes, one of the fishing spears, and let's see here. Look at what we actually have in our. Well,
What is Blogveer doing this whole time? Yeah, I'm going to say this whole thing takes about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
He's on guard. He's with the wagon and the horses and everything, and he's just keeping an eye out for predators, and hopefully nobody's gonna sneak up on us or anything while Shihan's doing his fair folk business.
You will see, however, maybe about a quarter mile away, in on like an adjacent hill, you see a herd of mammoths actually walk into your view. It looks like they're grazing out there. You see about 6 adults and 4 calves out there. One big female matriarch, clearly out there, but they have not spotted you. You're also upwind of them, so they're not going to smell you. No immediate threat, but it's a beautiful thing to actually see.
Oh yeah, Blogger will he'll gaze at them. I mean he'll try to not stare too long and be back on alert, but he'll also be with the horses, make sure that they don't get spooked or anything. If the wind does change and they start smelling mammoths, they might freak out a little bit or something. So he's just staying on guard best he can, but also admiring the beauty of nature. So
you feel Kaya's presence next to you, and I will say, since you guys had parted the first time, you've gotten used to how she feels, kind of like that sixth sense that you kind of like when you're romantically involved with someone, you can actually feel that person in a room, that certain like energy that comes off of somebody. Um, the corruption that has seeped into your heart since you had parted, in some form or fashion, has made that kind of like that feeling more sensitive in a kind of an odd way. As corruption is, it is a foul and evil sickness of the heart, but being so so far separated from your mate, now it's you know that she is there without looking, and it's more potent at this point. And she kind of mutters to you as you can tell she's looking at the matriarch of this herd, and she's tending to her two calves out there. Kaya murmurs to you, "Did you ever consider us like that once all of this horror has been finished?"
I have considered that with every waking hour. It is something that I hold on to and hope for.
You feel her hand actually kind of snake its way into yours, and she kind of squeezes it. And you
I
guys kind of share this romantic moment of you two watching these mammoths kind of like do their thing. And I would like a brief soliloquy. You can describe for us and narrate for us what happens in this quiet moment.
well, Blogveer will squeeze her hand back and will he'll move closer to her than he was, and he will still look at the mammoth, but also he would also steal glances at her and bask in the her beauty, as the sun would like illuminate her face, and he would just breathe in and just smell her, and he'll be filled with a sense of yeah, calm, but also just like euphoria. Like this is like everything's right in the world. He's sitting here with the one he loves, and they're watching nature and all its beauty, and like this is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this way. And Blogveer will think um, into the future. He'll be holding hands with her, and they'll be outside their home, um, and he'll look off into the sunrise as children play, and uh, just a big smile will just go across his face, and he'll see those children grow into adults and have their family and have their children, and him and Kaya will grow old together, and even when they're cycles and cycles and cycles into the future, they'll still be madly in love and holding hands, and they'll be holding hands on their deathbed, and all this just goes in the Blogbear's mind, and he kind of just forgets the surroundings, and he gets just engrossed and enveloped in this fantasy of the future that he wants to have with Kaya, and the adventures he wants to share with her, and the less exciting but more exciting in its own way mundane life of a just a commoner, a non-adventuring, non-world saving hero, just a normal uh, everyday commoner who will have settled down, have their family, and just grow old together. And he wants that more so now than he ever did. He's had his share of adventuring. He's had his share of glory and battle, and he longs for these quiet and simpler life than he ever has before. And he 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 never really thought about it this much he's always wanted to just live his life adventuring and all of that, but seeing her again, he he knows that he wants to settle down with Kaya. She's the one. She's the one to tame the the wild stallion inside of him. She's the one that's going to break him in and put that wild side to pasture. And he wants to grow old with her. He wants to live life to the fullest, and make memories with her, and raise children with her, and have a family. And he gets lost in the thought of these happy times that hopefully await him in the future. That he kind of just forgets the present, and he's so enveloped in these memories, and he can't help but just smile as he's staring off at the mammoths, but not seeing anything but this movie playing out in his mind, this series of events, and anybody looking at him would just see that he's staring at nothing and just with a giant smile on his face as he is holding Kaya's hand, give it a nice squeeze every now and then, as he is happy for the first time in forever, and he wishes he can just stay in this moment, just stay in it for cycles and cycles and cycles, just staying in the moment with Kaya.
And unfortunately, your revelry is shattered by a shout in the Nemersian tongue. It's a scout! As you'll Shihan will actually, as he is kind of rifling through and depositing supplies into this cache, from behind you, you assumed that it was the hunter that was with you, but you mistook the sound the from the opposite side of the hill, as you just look up to see a goblin riding what looks to be an oversized timber wolf, as two silver bolts appear in this thing, one in the chest of the goblin, another in like the left eye of this wolf, dropping the thing maybe just like a dozen feet up the hill and to the right, as a war horn blast fills the valley. I would like for you guys to roll a reaction, please.
All right.
First combat in like 6 sessions. All right, guys.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. My wonderful stuff going here.
8 and a 1.
Oh, damn.
That's a 10 total, but yeah.
And then my reaction modifier, that's going to be a 18 for my reaction.
Okay. Your lads will actually go on the same reaction. I just rolled for them. They will go on a 12. They move as a unit.
Okay.
So Shihan is the first to react here. Those two silver bolts land in the nearest target to you, and that poor bastard falls out of the saddle and half rolls down the hill, and unfortunately breaks off the arrow that found his heart. You steal just a millisecond to look back at where the hell those two amazing arrows went, and you see about a dozen feet back and to the right of Blogveer holding hands with Kaya, there is a fair folk with blonde hair. His horns denote him as an adult. He's wearing a cloak that is as black as night, with a kind of a silver trim, and as like 4 other fair folk and 6 other mortals actually come around around his right hand side down the hill from you, kind of going into like this lowland area, as you see about 40 goblins move. You guys are just up this hill from this small pitched battle that you're now seeing. This is like the first 8 seconds of this. Tell me what you do.
Well, first thing I want to do is yell in fair folk. I know it's trying to let my position be known. I'm going to yell out in fair folk. The ogres are friends, and then I'm going to target one of the lead goblins with a bow shot.
Go for it, man.
Okay. All right, that is going to be bow, bang, bow.
He will have a static AC of 12 there.
Oh, I hit him.
Okay, good.
I have over a 20.
Oh yeah, no, he's not paying attention to you, so his shit is static. You can roll damage here.
5 damage on that one.
He is wearing a bronze breastplate.
Okay.
So yeah, you're only going to get 1 damage through.
Okay. And then my second shot, because I have 2 with the bow.
Attaboy. There's a lad.
That is going to be a 20 on that one.
Oh, beautiful. All right, roll damage on the second.
6.
2 both, same target?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I only did 2 points of damage on that one, basically, after the reduction with armor.
Okay.
Total 6.
Okay. He, you stick 2 arrows into him, but it seems like it barely phases him whatsoever. Yeah. The Nemercian hunters with you, so is he the second oldest, the one who's maybe about 27 cycles old? He actually pulls the cart back away from the battle, maybe about. He's gonna try and take the cart away from the pitch, if you will, and he will probably shout to the other 2 to. I'm like they're going to basically cover him. They won't attack this turn. So what actually leaves Blogveer up. Ko looks at you with a fearful look.
Stay with the wagon. Stay with the horses. Stay down. And I will unsheath my sword from my back, and I will go and charge these down to these goblins. I'm going to help them fight.
She, as you do that, she kind of with a like an act of desperation there, she gives you a hug and then mutters, "Just be safe," and then kisses you on the cheek as she runs back to the cart.
So Blogveer's stunned for 1d6 rounds now.
Yeah, I know, right? Yep. We're done. We go. Blogveer dies.
Yeah, his heart explodes. Okay. He is shocked. He's stunned for just a second, as he like, what the hell just happened? What? And then he will
he will go off. Saiyan.
Yeah, he just his hair just goes golden, and it just goes down to the ground, and he spikes it up with hair gel, and he just goes on. No, but he's going to charge at these goblins. He's going to kill these little fucking bastards.
Yeah, there is about 40 of them. You make a quick count. Roll your first attack, man. You kind of like slam into this shield wall like a battering ram. Go for it, brother.
I'm using my sword, so I only get 1 attack, but I need to use it in order to get better with it. So.
Oh, excuse me, troll sword.
Yeah, my Trollbane, as I have dubbed it. That is a 18 on attack.
That scrawny goblin gets his shield up, but you, since you're actually using a large weapon, you're going to be using 2d8 for damage on this thing. That shield is going to do nothing. So just roll damage, and basically you're going to spatter him on the ground. Just for
That is
grins.
that's 20 damage.
So yeah, you kill him and the 6 around him. So 3 to the right, 3 to the left. You can describe for us how you dispatch these poor
So
bastards.
this is a hot knife through butter. This is just they are wheat that needs to be harvested. I will come at them with a right just cock it back and just cut them all in half in just one fell swing of this mighty great sword, as all of them are just sliced perfectly down the middle, and they lose about an inch in height as their midsection has been cut, and for a second they don't even realize that they're hurt. They're just like, what's going on? And then next thing you know, they're grasping and they fall over, entrails, blood, everything. They've been cut in half. Some of them don't die instantly, and they're trying to put their guts back inside of them, trying to crawl towards their legs, and they eventually bleed out from this grievous wound, and the shock sets in, and uh, it is something to behold. These goblins just sitting there, and then the next thing you know, they're like, what the hell's going on? Oh, I'm dead. Oh, they fall over, and just blood and entrails everywhere.
Oh, that's grim. I love that. You can have a bonus narrator die for that, man. That's fantastic. Well done. Shihan is the next to act.
Okay, there's one leader that I've been trying to ping that has a couple of arrows stuck to him at the moment.
They are going to be on his right hand side, so his axe arm.
Okay.
So like you've got one in his hip and one in like the meat of his shoulder.
Okay. I'm going to take a moment to actually focus on this one, and basically throw a couple of more arrows his way. Specifically, I'm actually move a bit to actually get a little bit better vantage point, I guess is what I would say.
Are you going up the hill or?
I'm probably going to try to move down towards the battle.
Okay.
But I'm gonna try to find, like I said, maybe a rock or something like that I can actually perch up on and get a little bit of a better vantage point from where I'm at to where he's at.
The only stone is the one that the cache is actually under.
Ah, okay.
It's kind of like a bleak, featureless hill.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'll basically circle up behind the stone then, and to the other side of the stone before I'll release them.
If you like, before you throw those dice, if you want, you could probably find room to stand on top of the rock if you really wanted to.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Get up there and fire off a couple good shots at this guy.
By that time, he has his back to you. He's trying to have a go at a couple Nemersians there.
Okay. Let's see, it'll be 21 plus my hunting bow. Oh, 21. That is going to be a 33 total.
Oh, fantastic. God damn. Yeah, roll damage, man.
Okay. Let's see here.
I will give you a...
Oh, I calculated that incorrectly.
Oh, Keith.
No, that is actually going to be a 28.
Well, either way, his back is towards you.
Okay. I rolled an 8.
I will give you dispatch damage on this as well.
Okay.
As he's not paying attention to you.
Yeah. So I rolled an 8. So
okay.
My plus 2 would be that'd be 10.
What arrows are you using?
The bronze arrows.
Okay.
So
they don't have a bonus to damage there.
Oh, okay. Okay, should just be 8 then. So.
Oh well, here actually let's check. Hang on. I actually have not looked in a while. Yeah, bronze is +0, but durability 4. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So and dispatch damage is +3. So
Okay.
total is, what's your physique modifier?
Actually, 2.
So yeah, you're looking at 13 damage there.
Okay.
Ouch.
Okay.
You can describe for us where that arrow lands, however.
Okay. Does it kill him or no?
It does not.
Okay. In that case,
That bronze breastplate actually holds up rather nicely.
okay. All right. Well, the arrow, I launched the first arrow, and it buries itself in the joint of his right arm, just
Ow.
outside the edge of the breastplate,
Mhm.
and hopefully gives him a little bit of discomfort in the arm at least. So, and I'm going to see if I can follow it with another arrow here.
Go for it.
So, all right, that is going to be a 16 for that one.
That actually does not make through.
Okay.
You actually you hit him, so actually he wheels his horse around. He's actually riding a horse. A couple of his
Okay.
other his lackeys are actually riding wolves, and miraculously he now knows where you're at,
Okay.
and he takes that arrow on the shield as the thing the arrowhead shatters off and then flies over his left hand shoulder, as he shouts something at you in the goblin tongue,
Okay.
but
I don't
yeah,
speak the goblin tongue.
no, you do not. So that is your turn. The two hunters that are with you, they are going to fire arrows into the mob. Nice, with one of those being a crit. The other one actually finding purchase on one of the goblins. The oldest of the three actually scores a kill, putting an arrow through the throat of one of these goblins, and another one has a bolt in, we'll say his left lung at that point. In a goblin has an arrow in his left lung. As more of these black cloaked mortals, this company, if you will, it seems like that black cape that everyone is wearing, it seems like a uniform of some kind, as it all has a kind of a silver hand embroidered on the back of it, and they're forming kind of a shield wall press, about four people deep on either side, and it's kind of creating this undulating serpent of shields pushing back and forth. Blogvir is the next, and the shield wall is surging away from you as those goblins want nothing to do with what you've just done to their companions.
Well, I'm not done with them yet, so I will charge at the nearest group of these goblins and give them a taste of what their friends just had.
Attaboy. Send it, brother.
All right. That is a 20 on attack.
Oh, shit. And amazingly, one of these goblins actually gets a crit off on his defense.
He's like, fuck, no, I don't want to die. Oh, shit.
He steps out of the way, actually. What I'm going to need is a durability test with your sword here.
So bronze is a 4.
Right,
for
that's how
durability.
much vitality the metal has before it breaks. So 2d8 plus the material bonus, it'll be +0. Let me know what you get.
That is an 8.
Okay, so yeah, the sword actually does not become damaged at this time, but you do strike the ground pretty damn hard, and they step back. Like the immediate 8 goblins are like, oh no.
They're like, God damn.
we're getting out of here. Which, to the Black Company's favor, they actually retreat straight into the waiting spears of them, and four of them get slaughtered.
They're not even looking. They just run back and run into the spear, like turn around and get impaled.
Oh, yeah, man. Okay, Shihan is the next to act.
All right. Since this fellow seems to shed bronze arrowheads like water from the back of a duck, let's see how he fares against Fey Iron.
Oh, yeah.
Fey Iron arrows out.
Is that Goblin King will say he's actually charging up the hill to meet you at this point.
Oh, so, he is?
Oh, he's bearing down upon you.
I'm going to be mean. Going for the horse.
Do it.
Double eights.
Oh my God. No fucking way.
I'm taking a picture.
Oh,
so you can
Jesus.
See
come on.
But
now.
I am taking a picture and sending it to you.
This is visions of the first session of this one where what's her name was charging on the horse, or that last what campaign it was. Yeah. She was charging on her horse, and the horse she died. Anyways,
yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
That's the first thing
oh my God.
The gasket. But yeah, that's it to the to our deal there. So yes, it is actual double eights.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, Keith. Come on now. Those are fucking loaded. Get out of here. No.
Well done.
So,
where is this? Well, it's a crit, so you choose where this thing lands, man. Just
okay.
Where's it going?
The arrow is going to go and pierce just to the left side of the center of mass of this horse, right below its where the neck connects to the front of the horse's body, bypassing all of any kind of armor and such. There, just finding that one little chink and buries itself to the fletchings in this horse's breast.
What I know of equine anatomy, I think that's his left lung.
Yeah, it'll put it into a lung. Yes.
Right about. So, oh my God, yeah. Oh Jesus. All right. You can kill the horse.
That poor fucking horse.
So the horse goes down.
Oh yeah.
And to follow it up, I'm going to try to actually hit the rider as he's falling off this thing.
Go for it.
Okay, not a double eight. Just so you know.
Yeah, I tell you to get out if it was another crit. Come on now.
Be a 21 to hit him.
Yeah, no, he's not going to be able to roll defense at this time since he's falling. So yeah, he's
8 damage on him.
He'll take about 2 damage on the floor.
Okay.
With on impact with the ground, excuse me.
Okay. And then 8 from the arrow.
Okay. Yeah, he's actually still still kicking and screaming.
I have more arrows, so.
It's okay. That is Shihan's turn. These mortals with you, the hunters, are going to resume their battle stand. Put arrows into the goblin line there. Blogveer is the next to act.
All right, I am going to hopefully find purchase this time and wet my blade with some goblin blood.
Get him.
So, ooh, that's an 8. That is a 35 on attack.
Oh my God. Brutal. All right. Yeah, there's no way they're getting out of the way of that.
Okay. That is.
And just to be certain, you are rolling 2d8 for damage,
yep,
correct?
2d8.
Okay.
That is a 20 on damage.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Yeah, you're gonna destroy about 8 of them with that swing. Yeah, describe for us how you dispatch these guys. It's like a whole squad.
All right. Instead of swinging low as I did with the other ones and cutting them in half, I will pop their heads off like a bottle of champagne. I will slice them right off, and their heads will fly and hit their other comrades, um, maybe knocking them down and or demoralizing them as their friend's head just falls, on top of them, and a beautiful geyser of blood will erupt from their stumps as a beautiful fountain, if you will, as their bodies still stand seconds after being decapitated, and then just one by one, just fountains of blood will just erupt from these stumps, and they will fall. They will fall down. Some fall backwards, some fall forward, just like dominoes being pushed down as the ground around them is saturated in goblin blood, and there are now 8 goblin heads in the battle somewhere, hopefully demoralizing their compatriots and definitely wetting my blade. So my blade is now drenched in it, and I scream carnage at the top of my lungs as I am sprayed with their viscera, and I lick my lips and get the goblin blood in my mouth, and I revel in this bloodlust.
Beautiful. All right, these goblins are going to attempt to counterattack. Like 4 of them are going to try and have a go at Blogveer, with the highest attack being a 17 here. Let me see how many of these actually get through.
That's a 12 on defense.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh my god. Oh shit.
They all go through, and they all start beating the shit out of me.
The first goblin gets an 8 on the die, so he's going to do 9 damage to you. The second one is also going to get 8 on the die, and he's going to do 10 damage to you. And then 4 and 6 damage. So go ahead and actually adjust that with your armor there.
So that's 15 total damage.
Oh,
done.
yeah.
Okay, not bad. Could be worse.
Well, you gotta subtract if you're wearing a breastplate. You gotta subtract
Yeah, I did.
4 to each die.
Yeah, I did. So it would be a lot
Okay.
higher. It would be a lot higher.
Is that more than half of your total vitality?
No, almost. I have 40,
Oh.
and I will be down to 25 now.
Okay, not quite system shock threshold just yet.
About a skin of my ogre dick, barely. So
That tarp we call a foreskin. That's right.
take shelter in my tarp. Hurry. There's plenty of room. Gather your friends. So,
all right, I'm sorry.
do they all have spears? Are they poking me? Are they hacking me with axes? How are they brutalizing me?
It is spear, sword, and axe is what gets through.
Oof.
And it mostly it's around your calves and thighs as they attack you. They're about the same size as bearded folk, really.
Oof.
The Goblin King, however, he hauls himself to his feet and he attempts to charge Shihan, and he is with his long axe there. Oh my God in heaven! All right, that's a double 8 right there. That's
wonderful.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the Edge of Shadows, episode 5, Revenge of the fucking Goblins.
Yep.
Right.
The Goblins strike back, dude. Like, holy fuck.
Oh my God. That is going to be. Oh, and he's got a +5 to his physique right now. Ooh. That's near max damage right there. He does 13 damage, 1 stroke to you.
-3 for my armor, which must be at 10, which is exactly half my vitality.
Oh no! Oh shit! Okay, I need a conditioning of life force test for system shock. Oh my god.
Well, luckily I have conditioning.
Oh, this might suck.
That is going to be a 19.
Oh, good. Oh, good. We're gonna say that long axe blade. He's actually using this thing with one hand, and he reaches out. He gets just within range of you. As so Shihan, you see this axe blade coming in. You're like, oh no, and you kind of like suck it in, kind of like bend in half just slightly to get out of the fucking way, and he slices you open just above your navel.
Okay.
Just deep enough for you to almost pass out.
Okay.
Like your brain goes, oh shit, we're not processing this. Just nope, you need to get the hell out. And your that hunter instinct, that fight or flight instinct kicks in, and it says fight, actually.
Yes, I was about to say my frenzy should kick in at this point. Because he has laid hands upon me, or weapons upon me.
And evidently it is your turn.
Well, I am going to rip my my sword out of its sheath. That wonderful Fey Iron sword. And I am going to try to run him through. Oh. That is going to be 18.
Hang on a second. Hang on. Since that was a crit, I got to roll on the crit chart.
Yeah.
Oh God, please do not kill Shihan right now.
Shihan dies, I'll just make another one.
Oh my God.
Shihan dies.
Nope. No. Shihan gets a broken limb.
Okay.
All right, so narrator rolls a d8 here. So 2. Okay, so he slices you across your midsection, knocking you backwards, and you can describe for us how you land, and that actually breaks your right leg.
Okay, as Shihan falls back because of the fact that he was on top of the stone, his foot slips off of the stone. And he falls back to where it splits. His leg falls into the crack, and his body takes him over, and his foot being jammed between the rocks allows his leg below the knee to snap and making a loud cracking noise. And he lands bruisingly upon that rock, his foot painfully thrust down within that crack. So,
I'm gonna say, just for dramatic purposes here, Blogveer, over the din of the battle, you hear that bone snap.
I'm assuming I also hear a faithful just screaming out in agony too. Unless Shihan is just like, he's a boss and he doesn't scream.
You recognize that scream. You've heard it many, many times.
That's a Banshee's keen.
Yeah. So,
Blogveer is the next act here.
Shihan's hurt, and he doesn't even know where Shihan is.
Well, so did my blow land at all?
I'll say you're not going to be able to in the
that's fine.
The poor position that you're in. You're not going to be able to attack him.
Okay.
So hearing his friend in pain and hurting, but not knowing where he is, lost in the din of combat and this bloodbath that's here, Blogveer will just let out a roar as he strikes with a vengeance at these fucking goblin bastards. Just smiting the nearest one he can get his hands on. Oh, ooh, that's an 8.
Go for it.
Yeah, nice. Okay, that is a that is a 17.
Yeah, you can attack that shield wall that is kind of forming up against you here. Go for it.
All right, that is a 12 on damage.
Fantastic here. You kill two of these goblins, but mortally wound two more with that strike. As the two hunters that have been continuing their battle stand there, they are going to attempt to save Shihan. The oldest one pulls out that Atlantean short sword that he has, and he's going to attempt to bury it in the hip of this lead goblin for a 17 on the attack, which he's going to do 7 points of damage. The next one will actually be slain outright by the retaliation of this goblin, as the axe that he is wielding splits him from his skull to his chest. He's kind of like booted down the hill there. Now, since Shihan is kind of wavering on like the edge of consciousness here, I'll see if I think we can have Shihan do like half actions at this point.
Okay.
What is he going to attempt to do here? He saw one of his companions get slain. You see the goblin take that stab in the hip.
Okay.
What is he? What's he on about, really?
Well, he can't really do an attack, I don't think. If it's just like a half action type thing, he'll probably try to free his foot.
Oh yeah, yep.
So,
Make a physiques test. Oh, that actually be athletics. Actually, pull yourself out.
All right. 9.
You can get yourself like unstuck, but you're not free. Put it that way.
Okay. So that's
All
basically what
things
he's going to do.
considered,
Is yeah.
all things considered, you're still like you're less uncomfortable.
Okay. Well, we're working it. Okay.
So back to Blogveer with this. We'll say he's in the red mist right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's about 4 sheets to the red mist. He's in there.
Okay, you're not going to be making an awareness test to actually look
No.
around for him.
There's nothing but red and blood and death. That's all into Blogby right now.
Okay. Okay. As you were, man.
So I killed 2 of those guys. I impaled both those goblins and skewered them on shish kebab, and then I cut one of the other goblins like arms off, mortally wounded him, and then I like kicked the other one and like broke his like sternum, made him send him flying. So now I get to attack again, I guess.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, let's see if I can kill some more. Ooh, that's double 8s. Ooh, that's double 8s. I got double 8s. Woo! I'll take a picture. Double 8s. Okay, I got double 8s. I'm so fucking happy. I got double 8s. I got double 8s, guys. That's fucking nice. I'm sorry. It's not very often I get double 8s.
Yeah, when was the last time you got?
I don't know. It's been it's been a hot minute.
No, man, it's been a minute. Oh, nice, beautiful. Roll damage, man. You're kind of cruising.
So that is 16 damage.
Oh, nice. They've got about a dozen guys left, and we'll say you kill half of them, remaining half of them, and roll me a d8 and tell me what you get here.
That is a 6.
A 6. Yeah. You just butcher these guys. What? Describe for us what you do to these guys here.
Well, some of them I split straight down the middle. Some of them I will shish kebab and then fling them off my blade, and they will fall into their comrades, toppling them over, crushing like one of them. Um, some of them will try to flee. They will fall over their comrades and break their necks. Um, I will grab some and pop their head like a pimple. I will step on some and crush them beneath my feet. I will grab one and beat his friend to death with his body. Just beat him with his friend, and I will just scream carnage at the top of my lungs in this fury and hatred. For all I know, Shihan's dead already, and these goblins are going to pay. And the last one I kill, I hurl my sword and just impale him straight through, and this massive sword basically just splits him like in twain as he's just like barely like just impaled on this sword as it's stuck into the ground, and he's just like sliding off the sword, just dead. And this just a fury of this ogre, an ogre possessed.
Amazing. Um, so the last of those black cloaks mop up the rest of that shield line, and we'll say, Shihan, make a conditioning test for me, since you might pass out here.
Okay, conditioning. 16.
Okay, so the last thing that Shihan sees is, let's say, like 9 or 10 of these black cloaks, like a mix of fair folk, a mix of mortals. You see Nemercians, you see a handful of Carpathish in there. You see one ogre in the background wearing a black cloak, and they fall upon this goblin king, and they fall upon him like Julius Caesar. They are stabbing at him, they are eviscerating him, and by the time he finally expires, he's got 40 puncture wounds in him, and he's beaten to death with his own helmet.
Yeah. Okay.
And you fall into shadow there.
Okay.
The last thing that Blogvir remembers is that snapping bone and the keen of the banshee. A few moments later, like he's lost himself to the red mist as you slowly come out of that horror. I need you to make a spirit test for shadow corruption here.
So that's 2d8 plus. Is that magic defense?
Oh no, that's your spirit modifier.
My spirit spirit. I'm stupid.
Oh, you're good.
That's a 9.
Oh, so no, you the darkness again seeps into your soul with 2 points of shadow sickness as you come back down from this red mist, this adrenaline high, in kind of like a high guard. Your troll bane sword. The runes along this blade are indeed glowing. Whatever dying Dwemer is still in this sword, you're just kind of breathing heavy as you're surrounded by on an equal number of these black cloaks, kind of like surveying the dead. And what do you do as the red mist like slowly dissipates like a fog?
Well, after I blink and I look down at my sword that I have retrieved from this goblin body, and I realize, I look around and survey, and I realize what had happened, what I've done, because the last thing I remember is my friend's wail, and next thing I know, there's dead goblins everywhere. But then I also single tear rolls down my cheek as I know that the darkness has crept back in after being rid of it. I was actually rid of it, and it didn't last long. And I feel like I betrayed Kea. That this corruption has seeped back into me, and I kind of doubt whether I'm ever going to be free of it. And if I'm even worthy of Kea at this point, that the corruption has taken root in me, and to even scare it away, it's a fleeting thing. It will always come back. It seems like it's anchored to my soul, and no matter what I do to gain to just to gain respite from it, it will always come back to me, and that single tear will mix in with the goblin blood and sweat, and um, Blogveer will he'll question his own mental state. He'll question if his spirit is strong enough to withstand the trials that's yet to come. And then in a second later, he realizes that, oh, my friend had a death scream, and I will frantically look around and try to find Shihan. I will uh, run and step and crush the skulls and the bodies beneath my feet as I rush to where I last saw him before I ran into the mob of goblins.
It was back up the hill by that split rock.
And I will run
There's
as fast as my giant tree trunks will take me.
there's about 8 of these black cloaks in those moments where you're trudging up the hill there. They're removing him from this rock and putting him on like a sled, a stretcher kind of thing that they have around. Um, and he ain't moving, but you can tell that he's still breathing. But that leg, that right leg is, ooh, oh, that does not look good.
Is there medics in your ranks? Can anyone heal him?
One of the fair folk, you assume that he's an authority there. He has kind of like the bearing of a captain. Our medicine men and wise women will take care of him. Don't worry. He just kind of looks on with this grim, like, this doesn't bother me kind of look, because he's clearly used to this nonsense.
Well, Blogveer lets out an audible sigh, and he kind of relaxes to the point of the adrenaline's wore off now, and he realizes, oh shit, my legs are like Swiss cheese now, and he will kind of almost stumble and have to regain his balance as he takes and actually looks at his wounds he has that are fairly grievous, that he didn't realize were that bad. As
You have what would accumulate to moderate wounds at this point. So you are indeed bleeding. One thing that kind of like to your horror sticks out to you, you kind of catch yourself like wiping away like the tears a little bit, like you rub the blood out of your eyes, and your tears are now the color of black ink.
oh
You look
no,
down at your hand, and then you see that your fingernails are now black,
oh no.
and
I'll
you
frantically try to just like rub it off, like, okay, it's soot or something. Somehow there's soot on my. Is there a coal around here? What's going on? I just like rub my fingernails, get it off. I will wipe the tears as fast and quickly as I can. Try to wipe it off, and it's just smearing just ink all over my face. And he's kind of Blogger's kind of freaking out now. He's like, oh God, no, the corruption is in him now. Like, it has become one with the corruption.
you've heard of this before. Those who have fallen or have been exposed to the darkness often enough acquire these symptoms, but you start to feel a cold, um, a coldness in the world, and a wave of sorrow washes over you. And Kea, being the one light in your life, kind of like a burning beacon of sunlight, runs up to you out of the corner of your eye, and she attempts to crush your ogre form in her arms, and she's got tears in her eyes. She buries her face in your breastplate and your cloak, and she just cries there. This poor girl. She's quite literally innocent to the ways of battle, and she has not been exposed to this horrible butchery. She is a seamstress and a gardener. She is not a soldier, and this quite literally affects her very much.
I will embrace her, and I will weep too, as my inky black tears will run down my cheeks and will fall upon her hair and staining her garment, and now she's just covered in the blood and the sweat and the viscera and the corruption of
Oh, she don't care. She's
what
just,
I've done now, and the sorrow that has taken over me. I don't hold it back. I just let it go. I just weep like a newborn babe, just wailing for the warmth of its mother. I don't hold back any of the sorrow, the doubt that Blogbeer has, everything that's just plaguing his soul. He just lets it bare in the form of just this sorrow, this crying. He just weeps. He breaks down. His defenses are shattered, and he just lays bare his soul. He just weeps and weeps.
So he's being pretty manly about it. He's keeping
Very
under control.
manly. Very manly. Like, this is like Hulk Hogan and, like, Randy Savage are in like a bar fight against, like honey badgers or something. Like, it's very manly.
We're gonna fast forward 6 days, and you guys have kind of been absorbed by whoever these black cloaks are.
They haven't told us that in 6 days. They just kind of quiet, just kind of like.
Yeah, they're real quiet. They're real grim about it. They in that 6 days, you do notice that a lot of them have the holy symbol of the Grey Lord around their necks. A couple of them are devotees to the god Kendrick.
Yeah, Blogbeer is not very versed in all the gods. He's not a scholarly. I mean, he's got academics, but he doesn't.
The Grey Lord is the deity that presides over the dead. He's the god of death. He's associated with the passing from the realm of the living to the realm of the dead. Kendrick is the god of fear.
Before I forget, before we hit the battlefield, I gotta take them goblins and throw them in the river. I gotta find a river and throw them goblins in. I have to. I can't forget. I had to do that. Like, after I had to grab these goblins and grab as many goblins as I can and find a river and throw them in there. Like, I have to. If there's not a river, I will put them on the cart and have the rotting corpses with me until I find a river. I have to throw these fuckers in the river.
There's a lot of shit going on, and you're pretty preoccupied. So you roll me a die. And...
Oh fuck! I'm gonna get fucked by this damn bitch.
Actually, no. Here, hang on. Wait. I will roll a die. You pick high or low.
Oh fuck. High.
Oh shit. Okay, all right. You unceremoniously and maybe like a little forcefully, you pull away from Kea, and you're like, no, just sacrifice them to the river, and it's just your corruption seeping in. What does he do? Tell me, tell us what you do.
Well, after he after his session of being a man and not crying, he will pull away, and he'll pull like a Bilbo from Lord of the Rings, and he'll show like his corruption face and like the river. They need sacrifice, and he will bound back down to the battlefield and start gathering corpses, piling them as high as he can, and just gathering even bits and pieces, heads, arms, whatever he can of these goblins to sacrifice to the river. The sorrow that washed over him was quickly the lake of sorrow was quickly frozen over by the the image of that beautiful, just sexy ass motherfucking river bitch, and he was compelled by this visage of this fair maiden to give her what she wanted, what she needed, what she deserved, you can't keep her waiting. This beauty is not meant to be waited, kept waiting. So he will have to give her the gifts that she deserves, and he will be just bound with all fury to gather these presents for this fair maiden, and that will just compel him. Like the gaze will just take over again. He must just like obsessively gather all these goblins and just pile them high and just carry them to a river and cast them in.
So that okay, so the Black Cloaks, they don't stick around. They so what we'll do here is Blogvir will disappear for like that 6 days. And Shihan will awaken to this grim-faced mixed group of black cloak wearing marauders, and Kea is sitting like on a soft patch with bear hides and mammoth furs nearby, and Blogvir is nowhere to be seen. But you have no idea how much time has passed.
So as typical, Shihan will wake up screaming.
Yep.
His dream he was having was that he was that drowned elven woman was hacking at his leg with an old stone axe.
Oh, that's horrible.
And giggling the entire time. He wakes up, of course, with his usual scream, and of course that throbbing is still there. He looks down to see. I guess he's been
mended, yeah. And they're actually really good at it.
Oh wow! He looks at it, looks around at the people around him, and notices Kea, and he looks at the looks toward one of the fair folk, and he says in Feywise, where are we?
The Fey that you're addressing, he looks up from his bow that he's actually making, and you're safe. He just goes back to what he's doing.
Look over at Kea and say, Blogbeer?
And she's really worried look about her. He said he was going to the river after we were attacked by the goblins. He turned into a monster. He said, the river needs its sacrifice, and a beautiful maiden needed goblins.
Shihan falls back and laughs. He says, beautiful maiden. Oh no. He has to make those sacrifices to she's a spirit of the river that washes the clothing of the dead.
She looks at you horrified.
Oh, don't worry. She actually helped him find you, actually. So that's what he's repaying. She gave him a vision of where you were at, so he knew where to go. And this is the payment that he must pay.
She's a real concerned look on her face, like she doesn't know how to process that, and she's really worried about Blogbear because it's been almost a chain, and you haven't seen hide nor hair or even a shadow of him.
How long has it been, Kaya?
This evening it will be 6 days.
He gets a little bit of a concerned look on his face. Has anyone seen hide nor hair of him?
No. There are other ogres here, and she points out 6 of them, all wearing these black cloaks with the silver trim.
Well,
No.
Shion tries to stand up.
You're not gonna be able to.
Okay. He's like he's going to be insistent about getting up. I need to go find Vlogbear. He may be in danger, and I'll try to find. I try to grit my teeth, and of course, I probably still fall back over again.
You get to kind of like a. Since your right leg is kind of like splinted in like a straight fashion, you're kind of like bent over trying to like haul yourself to your feet, and evidently the fair folk that you addressed previously walks over, and he just like puts his hand on your shoulder and pushes you back down. He's not nice about it. He just sit your ass down. He pushes you over. You're not going to be traveling until that is healed. And he points his bow at you, and he just like threateningly. Don't make it worse.
He gets a really dirty look. He says, "Have you seen where Blogbear went? Do you have any men who have eyes on him?"
Whom is this Blogbear?
He was the ogre, the big ogre that I know. I saw myself him lay waste to at least 6 goblins in one swing.
The ogre with the troll sword that was with you when we were upon you.
Yes.
He turns to he kind of looks off. No one else is nearby. He looks over and he kind of shouts to a couple other ogres, and they walk over, and he translates one of the ogres, and they both shrug like, no, we did not see any ogres after the battle.
Well, which way is the nearest stream or river? That's where between here and there is where he'll be found.
The ogres, these two, kind of look off into like the east, and you evidently the other 3 of you look off that way, and you kind of met with this familiar sight of. Do you remember the misty wood on the edge of the swamp?
Right. Yes.
The valley, kind of like it's not a valley. It's the lowland below you, as you guys are on top of a hill. Below you and beyond is that kind of like ruined makeshift fence. So it kind of dawns on you that you've made an entire circle. Your entire adventure, you've gone back home. And both the ogres go, well, the swamp is right there. Which now you put that in your head, and that's like 2 chains worth of travel back to the Great Gray River. So, and that's straight west.
I'm thinking myself, Blogbear wouldn't have known this was here, or would he? I don't know.
I'm assuming you guys would have spoken.
Well, he had. This is not too. Yeah, I had told him about the story of this swamp several times. This is where the
fair folk and monsters.
Yes, that's where they live. So yeah, so of course, upon seeing that, the first thing he thinks is, "Oh Lord, maybe there's some bigger ones that eat ogres." Well, gentlemen, I hope my friend Blogger hasn't been eaten.
The fair folk with you, well, he says the Smilodon are indeed active at this time during the
Oh,
fall.
not the Smilodons. It's what lives in those swamps.
Oh, he'll be fine.
Do you not know of the great lizards that live in those swamps?
I've seen them.
They find us rather tasty.
He cocks an eyebrow at you and says, "No, they don't."
Oh, they do. I have first-hand experience of this.
And he looks at your horns and says, "I don't. How old are you?"
Older than you might think. So
Humor me.
I am. Where is it? I am 221 cycles of age.
And he kind of like, you see the gears turning in his head. He says, "You're an exile. That's why your horns are small."
Shihan the Red Blade. Yes,
Oh, that's you.
that is me.
Oh. So how are you enjoying exile? His demeanor has completely changed at this point.
He looks down at his leg.
It
Looks
sounds like a party.
Um, well, it definitely is. Did you by chance retrieve the arrows from that one fellow who was trying to bend me over trying to bend me over the rock and run me through?
We have done no such thing. The the Goblin Lord, from my understanding, is still on that hillside. He's likely been picked to death by the eagles, the crows, and whatever scavengers are on the wastes at this time.
Well, as soon as this leg heals, I have to go back there and retrieve 2 arrows. Have a guess upon me to do so. So,
as an unfortunate thing,
yes, I found myself as a member of the court of the Pike King, and these were gifts of his. But I am always to retrieve them.
I see. Well,
Yes.
I wish you luck, but you will not be traveling, at least road-worthy, for a few months by now.
Few months. Do you have a swift runner who can get to the forest quickly? A message needs to be taken.
I suppose
they're in great. Our homeland is in grave danger. The ones that call themselves Atlanteans have set their sights upon our woods, our forest, our trees to build their ships.
that is a great distance from here.
They march quite swiftly when they choose.
Well then, I suppose that we should do that then. He just walks off. Like
Okay.
you assume that's what he's off to do. Maybe, we don't know. But yeah, he leaves you there with Kaya, and she just gives you a concerned look. She goes, I hope we can save your people from whatever harm that the Atlanteans would do to them.
Yeah.
I trust Myos's judgment that we should inform them before the attacks come.
Okay. Myos? Oh, yes, that's right. I keep forgetting. He flops back down on the pallet there and lets out an exasperated sigh, looks up at the roof of whatever shelter he's in, says, he is right, though, that I will not be traveling anywhere any long distance for quite some time. So I hope he has someone who can at least relay the message and allow them to start forming a defense, and not be caught unaware. So, have you spoken with these men at all? Hmm. Are you there, Rafe?
Yes, here. Sorry about that. My mic was muted. I was taking some notes.
No.
Kaya says, yes, I have spoken to a few of them. They are devotees to the Grey Lord and some of Kendrick's Silver Brotherhood travel with them. They are here in response to the cult and their dealings with the uh, the Pike Lord, not the Pike Lord, the Reaper King.
Oh, so they are actually doing the mission that we have been trying to do forever.
Uh, from what I understand, they've been at this for a few months now.
Hmm. It's odd that we haven't crossed paths.
Well, you've been in lands abroad. They've only been here in the wastes.
Uh, I may have information for them. He leans back, and the pain rising up in his leg causes him to wince. He says, "Is there anything to drink? Any water?" He looks
And
around to see if there's
Kea
any.
Kea points to the casks of wine that have been left for you. The
Okay.
she says, in hopes to dull the pain, the
Uh,
wine should help you be more comfortable. She kind of smirks, as there's quite a bit of alcohol there.
yeah. So, um, are my pouches nearby? Like,
All of your things are in your immediate vicinity.
okay. I'll open my pouches and see if I have any willow bark left in there.
You do not.
Ah, darn it. Okay. He pours himself a bit of the wine into a receptacle that's appropriate, like a bowl or a cup, and downs it in one good long pull. Coughs with it afterwards. Pours a little more and sips this one a little slower. And lets it because it's probably crap wine, but it's wine.
The stuff that you recovered from the cache is also there.
Okay. Get some of it and add it to it as well. And just start dulling the pain.
Okay. The the stage curtains will close on this scene as we find ourselves gazing upon the beleaguered form of Blogvir as he has taken on the duties of Undertaker to throw goblin corpses into the Great Grey River. In the past 6 days, I would like a soliloquy from Blogvir regarding his efforts, as the company has indeed abandoned him. What have you been doing?
Blogvir has he has been transporting these bodies. He has to get them to the river, um, and it dawns on him, and he knows that he's all alone out here now, and it can't be helped. This has to be done. He can't leave this unfinished, and even though he knows the danger he's in, he can't help it. He's compelled to do this. He has to get this done, um, because in his mind, if he doesn't get this done, then Kaya will pay for it. Shihan, if he's still alive, if he didn't succumb to his injuries, will pay for it. His friends will pay for this, and he can't allow that. He has to see this through. He has to transport these bodies to the washer. She has to wash them. She has to free him from his oath and his duties that he is unwittingly signed up for. He has to, even if it kills him, he'll know that his friends are safe from this demon, and um, he's no hunter. He hasn't even thought about food or water really this whole 6 days. He's been just traveling and traveling. He's been compelled to just go river, river, river. It consumes his thoughts. Um, there's points where he almost passed out from exhaustion and sleep deprivation and the thirst and hunger. And he'll just scrounge for some berries and hope they're not poisonous or some sort of the squirrel or rabbit. I don't know. Grab it, eat it. He can't stop. He has to keep going. He has to find this stream. Um, it is just all consuming, and his body is taking it's taking its toll on him. But in his mind, that there's no failure. There's just river. Find the river. Give bodies to washer. And so he has just been driven by this compulsion to find this river for the past 6 days. Just wandering giant with armful of corpses.
Well, it's not going to take you very long to find the river. You haven't been displaced from the river for a few days. I mean, you know exactly where it's at. So I'll say a few days of going back and forth, depositing these bodies into the water. Does he actually, I suppose, clean the battlefield, if you will? Because there's about 40 some odd corpses there.
He will take, yes, all of them. He'll take the Goblin King too. He'll go up down a hill. He'll grab every goblin he can, and he will transport them to the river.
We'll say on the third day, it's the evening of the second day, in the middle of the night, it snowed. The first time this season it snowed. So you're trudging. Your wounds are still bleeding. There's some supernatural presence is just keeping you going. So we, the audience, will see a trail of ogre footprints in the snow, accompanied with the droplets of ogre blood, and a drag skid mark of Blogveer dragging a couple goblin corpses through the snow to the river. And about mid-morning on the third day, there was a Smilodon, a saber-toothed cat that attempted to scavenge these corpses, and there was a hatred that welled up in you. There's just carnage appeared in your mind and said, "No, these are my corpses." You must make a reaction test, my friend, as you must drive this cat away.
Get the fuck out of here. That's an 8. That's 22 on reaction.
Oh my god. Okay, so you're gonna go first. What do you do to this cat? I mean,
I'm going to grab my club and I'm going to beat the bejeebus out of him.
Okay, has he lost the sword at some point, or
no? He still has a sword. It is sheathed. It hasn't been cleaned or anything. So
okay, he just goes for whatever.
Yeah, no. This is pure. There's no finesse here. This is pure hatred. He's going to clobber this thing until it's pasted into the ground. So he goes for the old beating stick, the old ass beating Malda's doom and shit. He's going to fuck this tiger up, this saber-tooth bitch. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's 21 on attack.
Okay, they have a static defense of 17 here, so yeah, you get through. Roll damage, man.
So that's 11 on the first attack.
There you go. Okay, so yeah, that saber-toothed cat does not want any of that shit. He's gonna come at you with. He's gonna try and pounce on you, really. As it lunges for you. I need you to make a reaction. Actually, excuse me, a reflexes test here, quick like.
Oh, where the hell am I? Okay. Oof. It's a -4 on reflexes.
Yeah, ogres are strong. They're not very nimble.
So, oh, that's an 8 though.
Ooh.
That's 10.
Desperation gives way for proficiency. There you go.
So that's a 10 on reflexes.
So yeah, he pounces on you. Whatever this cat and attempts to rake all 4 of its claws into your ogre flesh. And he does a good total of 9 damage, and you drop your club as this 600-pound cat plummets on top of you.
Oof.
You have your hands on it though, so if you want to, you can probably strangle this damn thing to death.
That's
if you
what I'm
wish.
gonna do. I'm going to strangle the bitch. So is that an unarmed attack or
Yeah, that is an unarmed attack there.
So I guess it's just 2d8 plus my physique modifier. I guess
Yes,
I
sir.
don't have. Okay.
Unless you have grades in pugilist.
I do not, but I rolled another 8. So
there you go. Go for it.
That's a 20.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can attempt to roll damage there if you're gonna try and crush his windpipe.
So is that 1d8 plus physique for damage?
Yes, sir.
So that is a 13. Wait, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna fast forward through this. So just in case here, yeah. So he's gonna fail his attempt to rake at you and get away. So you describe for us how you strangle the life from this hunting cat there.
So he's on top of me, and all I think is carnage is in my brain telling me, no, these are mine. No, these are mine. And I can't displease the goddess. So I literally, the cold is just seeping the strength from me, but carnage is invigorating me. It doesn't matter. My trembling hands just wrap around his great neck, and I just squeeze and I squeeze and I squeeze, and I just think of the goddess in my head telling me that they're mine, and I get angry that he's trying to take my corpses. I get angry about everything that's ever happened to me that's wrong in the world is because of this cat, and I just strangle and I strangle, and his eye pops out of his socket. His tongue just bulges from his mouth, and he's frantically just trying to get away, and I just keep squeezing and squeezing until I just crush his windpipe, his neck, everything, just crush him as the body just goes limp on me, and I slump him to the side, and I hurriedly go to my corpses and make sure that they're still intact and no one's taken any bits and pieces from them. I don't even take the time to acknowledge I just killed this great predator with my bare hands. All I'm cared about is these corpses and that they're still okay and they're still all here and they're mine. And I, without even a second thought, I begin just dragging them back to the river. Like, this is all that matters. This is all that matters. To the water with you.
2 days later, you are visited by yet another scavenger. At this time, it is a cave bear.
Oh man,
means to set upon these goblins, and you do nothing. You think nothing. It is just the darkness, and the sorrow comes over you. What do you do to this bear?
I will attempt to beat him into a paste, as I did with the with the great cat, and we will see if this will fare any better, or I will end up killing another creature with my bare hands, or will I meet my end?
I can go ahead and make an attack roll. If you want to make a called shot, or if you want to try and try some desperation
I'm
there, you
gonna
can.
I'm gonna do a called shot. I'm gonna aim for his head. I'm gonna try to just crush his skull in one
Okay,
swipe, and I'm gonna use my narrator die too.
absolutely. Well done. Go for it, man.
So I'll roll the 2 first. Okay. Oh, that's an 8. Just 8 by himself. It's exploding.
Yep. The narrator dice does explode too.
That's a 28 without rolling the narrator die.
You
And with the
might actually
narrator
not
die,
need it. Oh
it's,
yeah.
it's a 5 on the narrator die. So
Yeah, he got a 7 total. Cave bears aren't very quick, and they're dumb and mean. So, you can roll double damage on this thing. If you're gonna go for his head,
yeah, I'm gonna.
you might slay him outright.
So that is 5. Oh wait, hold on. I'm reading the wrong thing. That is 12. So that's simply 24 damage.
Yeah, you slay this thing outright. Describe for us how you crush a skull with his
So
with your ogre mallet.
this bear comes hobbling over the ridge, sniffing, and he'll rear back on his back legs and peacock at me and like try to scare me away. And I will, weary and pissed from these people trying to take my corpses, I will just unsling my hammer, just my club, and I'll just walk up to him and I'll just lift it over and then just swing it down and bash his head all the way into the dirt, the snow, the hard, thin, like the frozen over ground is just a crater there, as there is just a basically a bear head pate, if you will. It is squished, flat as a pancake, brain matter, eyeballs, tongue, skull fragments. It's all everywhere. And without a second thought, I just grab my corpses again and I drag them and my club along. And I'm just basically, I'm like, I'm over this. Leave my corpses alone. How many more of these people I got killed before you leave? No, these are my corpses. And Blogger will just basically like autonomously. He's like a drone now. He's just kill, grab corpses, drag. It's like he doesn't even think anymore. He's totally like just focused on one thing. He's just tunnel vision on these things. He can't even stop to just take in the gravity situation. Oh, I killed a cave bear. Nope. It's just dead. Grab, go. He just in this cycle of they have to go to the river. Nothing else matters.
Once you have cleaned the battlefield of goblins, and you go back to that standing stone where Shihan broke his leg, and you just sit on the side of the hill in the shallow snow there, your bloodied club next to you. You look down, you see the churn, the blood, the mud, the grass peeking through the snow. Just it's a horrible sight. And you feel that presence of that horribly hideous thing next to you. But I will wager that Blogfear just doesn't care right now.
He doesn't. Normally, he is frightened and everything. At this point, he's exhausted mentally and physically. That when he looks upon this creature, this beautiful, just arousing woman before him, he couldn't care less. His eyes are glazed over with the I'm over this shit look, and he looks upon her and then, I have given you your bodies. Release me from this duty.
That hideousness melts away and you do see a beautiful, tall, a strong, once strong Nemercian woman, almost as if your tribute had made her young and had made her beautiful. She stands before you, and she just smiles. There's a wickedness in that smile, though. There was once in life, there was once charm, and possibly she could have been very attractive, very beautiful. She stir the loins of many men and ogres, maybe, perhaps, we don't know, but that that is gone. No, she's there's a wickedness there. These many, maybe 1,000 cycles have just churned and twisted that smile into something horrible. I do release you from my services. This is
Blogbeard
enough.
lets out an audible sigh. He almost just breaks down right there, but he controls himself and he kind of tries to gain composure. But he was again, just like with the adrenaline, like he was running on, like he has to do this. The gaze compelled him, and now that it's done, his body is now like, okay, we're done here. We can stop now. His body is just trying to give out from the cold, from the blood loss, from probably infection. His For all he knows, his leg's going to be cut off with gangrene. He don't know, but his body is just like, okay, shut down now. We're going to go into recuperation mode, and he he just smiles like at this. That's all he can do is weakly smile, and he he just he did he's speechless. He just smiles and just looks at this at this woman.
I need him to make another corruption defense test here.
I should have saved my damn narrator die. All right, here we go. Because I'm gonna get fucked again. Here we go.
You are fulfilling a pact with an evil entity. So.
That's a 13.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, just go on. Just come on. All are welcome. Come on, corruption. All are welcome. Just hide in here. Just take hold in here, buddy. Here you go. Just live in me.
Oh my god. You take on 2 points, two additional points of
so that's
of shadow
4
sickness.
I got now.
4 total. Yes.
Yeah. God damn, Blogveer.
The last thing that he sees before he passes out in the snow is the ground rushing up to him, and he gets a really good shot of her bare feet in the snow. She has some very beautiful feet, and
if only he had
it's
a
just
foot
darkness.
fetish. Oh, Blogveer.
Back in, well, before we go back to the other scene, a nondescript amount of time has passed, and in the subconscious state, in the lands of Morpheus, Blogveer is visited again by those happy images of him and Kea, but there's also a sense of, am I dead? Is this indeed the afterlife? Is this... Because if it is, she's dead too. And then maybe this a twinge of horror sets in. You startle awake, half buried in the snow. But at least 2 things are different. That Smilodon, that great saber-toothed cat, is gone. And the cave bear is gone. You wake up draped in their furs. You're dumbstruck by, oh, I did not have these blankets on me. You half sit up, and like half consciously you half wrap yourself in this cave bear hide that you do discover has a hood. This has been fashioned into a cloak befitting your form. It's quite warm. And the Smilodon is now a sash tied around your waist, now keeping your midsection quite warm. And you indeed look quite handsome in these furs now. You're still aching. You are still now starving. You have no idea when the last time you ate was. You see a beautiful red-haired woman in a mauve-colored, kind of like a one-piece tunic dress, standing near you, and she's standing just above the snow. She is the most radiant thing that you've ever seen. If she has grades in allure, she would quite literally have 18 grades of allure. She's well beyond the max of 12. She is radiant. She is divine. Clearly, you are not a pious individual. You know when you look upon a goddess so fair and so perfect and so beautiful. She says nothing to you, but the pain is gone, and you just feel the warmth of being hugged, and the most perfect and affectionate hug that you have ever received. But she looks down upon you and smiles, and as your eyes attempt to adjust to the brightness, now the sun peeks through those thick clouds, and it just like daggers stab into the areas behind your eyes. Oh, by the gods! That hurts. You reach up with your left hand. It emerges from the cloak. You feel now the biting, freezing wind on your fingertips as you rub that pain from the light away. And whoever that radiant being was, she's gone. But now, that next moment, you are then consumed, almost like in this almost volcanic kind of fashion, this boiling desire and fear, fury rises in you as you haul yourself to your chest, and like a revenant, you are drawn to the east. And the words, "I must find Shihan, and I must find Kea," on your lips as you trudge through the snow, your sword on your back, your club on your hip, and your arms pulling this bear pelt around your form as you just for the comic relief, like from that scene from Grumpy Old Men, the 90s movie, as you're just angrily going through the snow, kicking snow out of the way, making your way to the east. The scene will open up on the 9th day from the battle with those goblins. Blogveer has been missing for just shy of an entire chain. Kea is now fidgeting in her worrying, and for the past 2 days, Shihan has not slept. Your worry, Kea is she is a contagious worrier. If she worries, the entire camp will be worrying, and she's very much a Debbie Downer. As Blogveer hauls his beleaguered and weather-beaten form from the snow into the encampment, and he just, with this expression on his face, "I am so fucking done," he collapses right there in the snow. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
Shihan will, at this point, will probably have at least got himself a short spear to actually hobble around with because he would not be able to just sit there. He levers himself up and starts hobbling out towards the form of his friend, yelling, "Blogbeer, Blogbeer!" And of course, I'm sure Kaya sees that and runs toward him as well. Um, he's going to try to get some of the probably the ogres there to help pull him to Blogbeer's form to a place where he can get some warmth, possibly near a fire or something like that, and see if he can get possibly some food and maybe something warm to drink in his friend. He's like, "Where have you been? Wake up!"
He is not in this realm. He is in the realm of Morpheus at this time.
Okay.
You kind of like deposit his, for lack of a better term, corpse at this point on the edge of an ogre-sized bonfire, and we know that ogre-sized bonfires are quite impressive works of art.
Mm-hmm.
They have food, they have drink, they have essentially anything that you could possibly need.
Okay.
And there was, or excuse me, is in these days, you have come to know that the leader of this troop is actually a white necromancer by the name of Oth. Actually spelt ATH. He is a devotee to the Grey Lord, and his coven, we'll say, is actually known as the White's Grasp. You can tell the devotees to the Great Lord apart from the Silver Brotherhood because the death priests or the death worshippers on their left hand, on the back of their palm, they have what looks to be like a tattoo. They all have this. It is essentially the soot colored in image of a black skeletal hand.
Okay.
It's like tattooed and scarificationed into the back of their hands. All of them have this. And as Oth comes over, he is maybe in his mid to late 60s. He's a very ancient mortal. He's actually a Nemercian. Of course, Kaya is fawning all over Blogveer, and unfortunately, Blogveer is not here to appreciate this sort of thing. The white necromancer simply says, "We shall leave him be. He is in the land of dreams. He is quite safe. Give him some space to breathe and to dream." And at that point, everyone backs off. If Shihan does, I mean, if Shihan does or does not, Kea may or may not. But when he speaks, he quite literally everyone listens. There's very few mortals that Shihan knows who have that kind of power in this world.
Well, Shihan looks up at the fellow and sort of nods and looks over at Kay and says, "Let's at least get some things to make him comfortable." And he'll hobble back over and grab a spare blanket, take it out and throw it over and make sure he's fully covered and warm, make sure he's not too close to the fire but not too far away. Clean his, Kay will probably get a cloth and clean his face off and try to clean some of the blood and dirt and such from the road off of his face to see if he has any frostbite and such. Marvel at this beautifully made cloak and sash. I wonder where he.
You notice that he's got holes in his like in his greaves, like his
Mhm.
his pants. For like you
Okay.
assume that he had taken hits in the battle,
Okay.
but his wounds have almost it is to your eye it is impossible for him to have healed that fast.
Right.
That is unheard of. That cannot be.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. He'll look all over his body to make sure to see if there's any obvious wounds, and not finding any. He'll sit back on the well, actually probably more lean back and tilt his head and sort of let out a little
He has some deep gouges where a great hunting cat fell upon him, but again, those wounds have healed in a way that it cannot be. That's such an impossible thing.
Looks over at Kay and he says, I think he's going to be all right. I don't know why, but I think he's going to be okay. He's just very, very tired and a lot skinnier than I remember.
Oth, the Lord Necromancer, comes over, and I cannot stress to you guys and the audience enough. This guy has the bearing of like Sir Christopher Lee. He's that much of a presence here, and he kneels down next to Blogveer's face, and he takes his right hand and he just brushes uh, with his middle finger and his ring finger on his right hand. He just brushes like a couple dreadlocks away from Blogveer's face, so he just gets a good look at him. And nice, obviously, Sir Christopher Lee he just looks down and almost with this grandfatherly, almost a caring look about him. He just kind of pats the ogre cheek. The boy will be just fine. And he places his hand like on his neck, like just like where the beard meets the jawline, and he pushes the hair out of the way, and we see like a deep cut, like where his jugular should be, and we'll see the jugular vein pulse just under the skin, and the the head necromancer remarks without looking away. He's addressing Shihan and says, "And death came so close, so painfully close." And Shihan looks over, and you see like a claw or a dagger of some, like a dagger-sized wound, like claw, found its way into Blogveer's neck, but did not sever the jugular bone. But that is just healed so perfectly and so beautifully. And
Very close.
the necromancer simply smirks and says, "Whoever watches over this one, he should feel quite blessed." As the necromancer stands, "When he awakens, summon me." And he walks through the snow with this preternatural grace. That there's something about him that's just alien and otherworldly. And slowly, ever so slowly, the camp kind of just like comes back down into a calm state where everyone's working. In the lands of Morpheus, Grant, where is Blogveer at this time?
Blogveer is at his village. He is sitting on in a chair outside his home, and he is watching his children play, running around, throwing rocks, playing, and Kea is just walked out of the home and placed her hand on his shoulder, and he will place his hand on her hand. He will just look out at his children. He will look past them to the sizable farm that he owns and that Kaya is the head farmer of, and he will look past that to down the uh, down the hill and look at all the land he owns and the crops that has been grown and yielded, and he'll look down at all the workers and villagers that are enjoying their life, greeting each other with a warm smile and a wave, and all is right with the world. And he looks back at Kaya, and uh, she's just as beautiful as the day he met, that laid eyes upon her, and he will sit there and watch his children play, and it'll just go through the motions of his children growing up and them having their children and his family growing, his farm growing, and there's just peace. There's no conflict. There's peace, and the whole time he's in the land of Morpheus is just this this beautiful memory, or this dream that he wants to have. But near the end of it, a storm blows through, and instead of rain or snow, it's black ink just pours from the sky, and it starts covering everyone, almost like a cocoon, like a sticky tar just takes over people, and they're thrown to the ground and absorbed like quicksand. They're just getting taken by this black ink. Before he can get off the chair to reach for his children, they're consumed by just a wave of ink. And uh, as Kaya goes out there to grab the children, she's also just taken in by this quicksand of ink, and hands pop up from the ground. These black inky hands just pop up and grab Logbear's legs, his arms. They're pulling him down. The ground opens up, and just a black maw of just black ink reaches up and bites and consumes him whole. And all he sees is black ink. This black darkness takes over him, as the corruption will not be ignored, and not everything's going to have a happy ending for Blogfear as long as the corruption is in him. And this cycle of nightmare dream just carries on as long as Blogbear is in the land of Morpheus. He will have these bouts of extreme bliss and nirvana to these horrible tossing and turning, teeth gritting, sweat pouring nightmares that he'll have while he's dreaming, and it will go back and forth until he's finally awakened.
One of the dreams, a blissful one. There seems to be intervals of calm and chaos, but one particularly surreal dream stands out in this montage of many colors and the dreamscape. That red-haired woman in the mauve-colored dress comes to you again. She speaks to you in a sweet and almost loving fashion. She says that the darkness has come and taken hold in your heart. But it will pass. It will pass. You take as much time as you need. Your friends are safe. You are safe. The darkness is very far away, and those protecting you right now, they will make sure that the darkness stays far, far away. And in one of these sequences, she kisses you on the cheek. Blogvir is asleep for, say, a few more days, really. And there's a few of these black cloaks that have stood vigil in shifts over him. And there's one priest of carnage that has taken a liking to standing vigil over Blogvir. He's an Arborian. No one knows his name. No one seems to have asked him his name, but he's the only one who has a black and red cloak. Wears the holy symbol of carnage, as well as a battle axe on his back. But he's always there with Blogvir, sitting on a stool nearby, always within arm's reach, smoking his pipe. He seems to there seems to be like a companionship between Blogvir and this Arborian. From time to time, you catch this Arborian talking to Blogvir in his sleep, almost as if he's having a conversation with Blogvir in the land of Morpheus. So there's something there. And if approached, I'm making sure that your friend is well. And that's all he'll say. He'll blatantly ignore anyone else. He will drink the sacrament red wine of carnage, and he'll just talk to Blogvir as if they were drinking buddies, and they've been drinking buddies for hundreds of cycles. I would like closing soliloquies from Keith at this time. We'll see, unless Grant wants to give a closing soliloquy of the entire session here. Keith, go for it.
Well, during all this time, of course, Shihan, now knowing that his friend is safe, is focused on healing. Though he does make sure that where he's positioned in the little shelter that he's been in, he can see Blogvir and watch the proceedings of this fellow and overhear the conversations. Though he seems to be even though it seems that he's speaking in a language that he can understand, it's just beyond his hearing, just slightly every time he says something. It's puzzles him. But then, of course, he's still plagued by this vision of a fairy maid who's still following him about. Every once in a while, in his dreams, he'll wake up and start as he believes she's slamming his legs with a hammer, or she is leading a great beast of the swamp to chomp down on his leg and drag him under, and all manners of horrors that pass before his eyes as he tries to sleep. And one evening, he's sitting there, the orange glow of the big bonfire out, keeping the entire place warm, melting the snow from directly in front of the shelters. And Blogvir's laying there. He thinks to himself back on the time when he was just a lad. He is being taught how to use the bow by his father. He had taken him out on a short little hunting trip, and he's stalking through the forest on the quiet feet. The sound of insects buzzing about his head. Occasionally, a call of a bird in the distance as the wind whistles through the tops of the trees, but doesn't quite reach to where he's at. To this warm evening, just before sundown, he spots a rabbit and goes to lap a shot, but then the hare just bolts off into the forest because it's startled by a boar. The boar sees him and charges him, and Shihan turns and bolts, runs and screams for his father. The boar hooks him and actually cuts his leg open a bit before running off. As his father comes up and actually puts an arrow in the small boar. In truth, it wasn't very old of a hog, but it was filling its oats that day because it saw a challenger. And as Shihan lays and holds his leg, he his father comes up to him and asks him what happened. And he said, "I was afraid, father. I saw it. It startled me, and I ran. And I was afraid." And his father looks him in the eye and says, "Shihan, the secret." He says, "Do you know what the secret of being brave is?" And Shihan says, "Not feeling fear." He says, "No. It's understanding that fear is a thing, and that you will fear, but you need to learn to understand what fear is and know your fear so that when the time comes, you can control it." And as he's thinking these things, his hand keeps tracing an image through that pouch on his hip of that symbol he'd found at the cache. And I think he thinks to himself, understand fear. That's what I need to do is understand fear. He keeps saying that over and over to himself under his breath as he watches Blogbeer, hoping his friend will wake up soon.
There's a few moments where the priest of carnage, the Arborean there, who Blogveer will, from the subconscious state, understand the presence of said being. His name is Hawker. That's spelled Hakr. He's been a devotee to carnage since he was a boy. You've never met, but you have met. You don't know where, but there's a bond there. And Hawker just says, between sips of that red blood wine, and drags off his long pipe, I've been on a pilgrimage to the east. I see things. And then I come back over here. I see things over here. Oh, and then I go north, beyond the mountains, into the ice. I see things there. Wherever we go, there's blood. There's carnage. And the lady always keeps us warm. He takes another nice long sip, another nice long drag, and Hawker now is 3 sheets to the wind, but he's sitting there just keeping Blogveer company. And he'll lean over. He'll kind of like clench that pipe in his teeth, and then just kind of like through his teeth, he leans over and kind of pats Blogveer on the side. It'll be all right. I'll make sure no one comes and gets you. It'll be all right. And Hawker, he sleeps there in the stool. He doesn't go off to his tent. He like sleeps there with a wineskin on his right knee, and he kind of like slumped over. His hand in the pipe, his forehead in the pipe hand, and that's how he is until Blogveer wakes up. Take the floor, Blogveer.
As Blogbeer is in the lands of Morpheus, it dawns on him that this red-haired maiden could in fact be Lady Carnage, and she could have in fact saved his life out there, but nothing certain. That it does dawn on him And it also dawns on him the words he said, that he is safe and to take the time he needs. And honestly, he could live out the rest of his days here. This is perfection to him. When the darkness, the corruption doesn't come, but he also knows that his friends need him, and this this strange friend that he hasn't met but has known his whole life, it seems, is waiting there for him, and he knows that they probably have a lot in common and a lot to talk about, and he's eager to meet him. But at the same time, he's eager to go back to the waking realm, but he just wants to stay in Morpheus's realm a little longer, just a little bit longer. He wants to savor these memories, and because he doesn't know if he's gonna be able to see them again, or if anything in these dreams will come to pass. He doesn't know what the future holds for him, and that's why he wants to stay a little bit longer to just revel in what could be and what he wants to be. But he knows that he will have to awaken, and he will have to go back to the harsh realities of the waking world. But his friends are safe, and he is safe, and the demon is appeased, and she will no longer hang threats over his head. She will have no hold on him. His friends are safe from her. She will do no washing on them, for she has a plethora of corpses to wash. And Blogveer has a deep satisfaction knowing that. Um, the whole time he's in the land of Morpheus, um, he has that satisfaction. He has that calm of knowing that the demon is appeased. And even if he would die in his sleep or succumb to his wounds before he wakes up, he knows that his friends will be safe from the demon, and that he has accomplished that. And he hopes that in the days to come, the trials that they will face, he hopes that they will make it out all right, and that he can hopefully see Kea and see her the way she is in his vision, and see his children and have this life with her. But until that time comes, he's going to enjoy the land of Morpheus just a little bit longer, and enjoy the dreams of what could come to pass.
And with that, we will close the session. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. We will be taking a brief break over the holidays, but we will be back hopefully on the 4th. Cross your fingers. Same time, same place. Good night, everybody.
Good night.